Hi, Da-Kadu. This is your birthday party. So this is Ed Mays reporting from Pilot TV, and the party will proceed as follows.
Twilight time steals across the meadows of my heart. High up in the sky, the little stars climb, always reminding me that we're apart. You wandered down the lane and far away, leaving me a song that will not die. Love is now the stardust of yesterday, the music of the years gone by. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night.
I know Australia. I'm going scuba diving. We're down here for 10 days. So I'm traveling up to the Daintree National Forest and then back to Canada, and I'm going to be living on a dive boat for 3 days, scuba diving every day.
Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night dreaming of a song. The melody haunts my reverie.
I welcome every single one of you. As you all know, Da-Kadu turned 79 last August 14th, and that was the day that he received the news that he had cancer. And he said, I want an 80th birthday party. Up until a couple of weeks ago, Da-Kadu would have been here. He knows all of you are here, and he knows that every one of you love him and care about him very deeply. You know, he sends his love back. So know that Da-Kadu's spirit is here. We are very, very fortunate because we have with us today videographer Todd Boyle. Da-Kadu will actually see every one of you here when he sees this video, and with the camera is the event photographer Alex Crick from Spin Magazine. Max Domeyer spent 100 hours editing the iMovie of Da-Kadu. I want to thank my daughter Sabrina and Wishbone Catering. And Da-Kadu's family is here. Okay, son Johnny. Josette is his first lovely wife. Marcy is his daughter-in-law married to Johnny. His granddaughter Janelle. She is in veterinarian school in St. Kitts right now. Her fiance, Josh, a gorgeous airplane. It's unbelievable. Debbie Brown is Da-Kadu's sister-in-law, married to John Brown. So John, as many of you know, is Da-Kadu's twin brother. Their actual birthday was Thursday on the 14th, and we had a very small family party at the Benson Heights Rehabilitation Center. Thank our neighbors from the Montlake community. I want to especially recognize Jim wearing that very, very sexy cap back there. Da-Kadu and Jim walked up and down the alley together for the last, 4 years. And so, thank you, Jim, for being such a great companion. Then we have an entire circle of friends that Da-Kadu has known since we got together in 1991. We also have many of his political compañeros. Venceremos Brigade, we went to Cuba with. Okay. And Carolina organized the Seattle contingent of Venceremos Brigade to go to Cuba, where Da-Kadu and I were married in 1994, and Bill was our best man. And then, of course, we have the representatives from the Seattle U.S.-Cuba Friendshipment, with whom we've been together for the 20-something years. And also, Da-Kadu helped us organize the Rainier Beach community to get the Paul Robeson Performing Arts Center. Thank you. Thank you. My first husband and good friend, Barry, did the oil painting of Da-Kadu. Barry's lovely wife, Delia, and stepmother of Rachel and Sabrina. Barry's niece and my niece through marriage, Julie, her daughter Susan, and her husband Eric. And Da-Kadu's stepdaughter and my daughter Rachel. Coming from the farthest away, Kumi and her partner, Stars, just flew in from Tokyo for this. So, again, on behalf of Da-Kadu and his family, I welcome all of you. I want you to know this is a very, very loose event. You all should have gotten a handout, and on it are listed the wonderful musicians who will be playing today. And right now, before the musicians begin, I want to show 5 minutes of the iMovie of Da-Kadu's life start, and you can come and go and drink and give Da-Kadu all your love.
The time that I realized and connected with you was time in my life that was very, very dark. It was a very dark place. It still is a dark place. And through music and your inspiration, I've been able to shed a little bit of light. And so, I guess the point today is to tell you that you need to keep shedding light for us.
Happy birthday, Da-Kadu. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Da-Kadu. Happy birthday to you.
That Edelstein literally saved Da-Kadu's life. And he did, but that is another story.
I'm always glad to take unearned credit, so that's fine. Keep saying that. Hey, this is a birthday party, right? Yeah. This is a birthday party. We got a bunch of birthdays in here. Where's John? Shamadu. That's right. One who teaches, one who's a philosopher, one who is a scholar and a humanist. I'm not introducing you just yet. Yeah, it's your birthday though. I just learned it's Nicholas's birthday too. Where's little Nicholas? Nicholas, happy birthday! It's his night. That's awesome. I'm under a lot of pressure here because to talk about Da-Kadu is a fearful responsibility because he is such an important character in my life. I didn't know Joseph Brown. I only know Da-Kadu. But I asked Da-Kadu in the last couple of months where Da-Kadu came from, where the word and the name came from. And the story is this. In a military hospital in Bethesda, Maryland, he decided to take the name. He woke up in a military hospital, all hooked up, And he woke up and he decided, I don't want to be Joseph Brown anymore. I want to be Da-Kadu. And the name Da-Kadu comes from Congo, where he and his brother in the 1950s were stationed during a time of great trouble and great injustice. And there they met a holy man who gave them each a name. I'll let Shamaru tell you about what his name is. Da-Kadu's name that he told me about is the one who knows, the one who sees. He is the one who is the playwright and the musician. The two who are playwrights and musicians. Among those. So that's Da-Kadu. So what does Da-Kadu know and what does Da-Kadu see? Well, for me, I met Da-Kadu in my first year teaching at Rainier Beach High School, my first year teaching altogether. And to say that he was an inspiration and a power is an understatement. Many people saved my life that first year in school, but he was among them. And he and his brother played music at an event that I was supposed to put together, but couldn't attend because I had hepatitis. But I got covered for it, and that was the first time that they kind of saved my life. But the times since then have been innumerable, and mostly, I can say, spiritual. What does Da-Kadu know, and what does Da-Kadu see? Well, Da-Kadu, in my view, is, as the young man said in the video, embodies a spirit, a power. And I experienced this many times. The time I got credit for saving his life, I really don't deserve it, because he needed a hernia operation. And I had a hernia operation, and I explained it to him and sort of demystified the whole thing for him. But I drove over to pick him up and drop him off at the hospital. And from that moment that I got him, he was very reluctant to go. He despised Western medicine and all that it represented. And when he got in the car and started driving, I felt this amazing power that we were going to the hospital. And as soon as we got out, he was in an emergency room full of really sick people. He got into a wheelchair and he began to go around and dispense Da-Kadu wisdom all over the place. How you doing? How you doing? Everybody was cheered up. Everybody was inspired. Everybody felt what there was to feel. To me, it was of the many miraculous presences of this man. From Da-Kadu's perspective, Da-Kadu, I think, may be the only sane person in the world. A lot of people have been trying very hard to make Da-Kadu look very different from that, according to his clinical analysis and so forth. But we live in an insane world, an unsane world. And I think Da-Kadu may be the most sane person that I know. And being a sane person, that puts you in touch with the truth. And that's what Da-Kadu sees and knows best. Always. Da-Kadu can play music and say, this music is about the truth. And for Da-Kadu, music is the truth. Da-Kadu is unafraid to speak the truth to anybody. And the truth always speaks to power. Da-Kadu has touched us all in that way. Da-Kadu knows, he sees character. He sees character in people and potential in people. He's got a wonderful sense of humor. I remember at my 60th birthday party, he's very generous with his praise. Like Roberta and I were dancing. Roberta's a good dancer. And I'm not so much. And afterward, Da-Kadu said, very generously, I see what you were trying to do there. And I respect that. Oh, this guy really has a sense of humor. His truth-telling brought him into direct contact, I believe, with a spiritual life, a power that when touched, could only leave you in greater touch with your responsibility as a human being. Being around Da-Kadu made me sit up straighter, made me take my responsibilities more seriously, made me see my duty to my students much more clearly, and as always, I will continue to do that. I now ask myself the question, what would Da-Kadu do? And I think what Da-Kadu does is I think he sometimes asks himself the question what his ancestor would do. The great, immortal John Brown, the greatest of the white abolitionists of his time. John Brown, like Da-Kadu, at some point in his life, declared that he would no longer tolerate injustice and racism, and no longer contribute to the system and the society that fostered that. That puts him in the league with people like Henry David Thoreau, with Gandhi, with Mumia, with Angela Davis, with Noam Chomsky, with Chris Hedges, people he admires, and so on. And those people that he admires and respects and reveres include all of you, because you're here for him and with him. Da-Kadu sees the truth. Da-Kadu sees the world as it is. Da-Kadu sees if you're about to die. How about that? He told me stories about how he knew somebody was about to die and it happened. Da-Kadu knows the inside of your heart. Da-Kadu has, he has impeccable integrity. When I say impeccable, that doesn't reach the adequate level of integrity. He lives what he believes. That's a rare human being. Da-Kadu sees the good in everybody. He sees the bullshit in those who possess it. He's an unfearing, unblinking critic of hypocrisy and lies and distortion and cruelty. He will always be their opponent. And that's what Da-Kadu would do, which is oppose all of that for all time. The question of what is it incumbent on us to do with such a legacy of impressive characters who gave up everything for their cause? Da-Kadu changed his identity entirely. John Brown committed his life and family and fortune to the ending of slavery, paid the highest price. Well, what it obliges me to do is always ask that question, what would Da-Kadu do? And after all this idealizing him, I also have to see him as he truly is, which is a human being. And a wonderful and funny and insightful and brilliant human being whose stories, as metaphorically as in real terms, tell the story of all of us and what we need to do. So, last thing, men who've gone away to fight, and this is something I'm borrowing from Chris Hedges, they have to come back eventually if they're lucky enough to do that. And Hedges says that the story of people returning from war is the story of Odysseus in the Odyssey. Odysseus must wander for 10 years before he can return home. He always imagines home in idyllic, illuminous ways. Home is beautiful, but when Odysseus comes home, he returns to a home that is corrupted. It's corrupted by vice and greed and injustice, and he must begin his conflict anew. Da-Kadu still wanders, but among us, in our hearts, he's at home. I'd like to now introduce Da-Kadu's mirror brother. Da-Kadu and John are, Shamadou, are mirror brothers.
Mirror twins. Yeah.
Mirror twins. That means that they were facing each other inside the womb.
Wow. Okay.
But, you know, being a twin with that kind of connection and support, he protected me, and I knew it. It was like a warm blanket. I knew he was there every time, protecting me against what he perceived to be danger. And most of the time, he was 100% correct. And I had this weave of protection over my military because they couldn't send me to war. You know, because I was scheduled to be sent. And he stayed to keep me in school. And that to me was a great protection and a good sense of love for the human being, but because he succeeded on the element. He gave to me a sense of confidence in myself. You know, a sense of confidence in myself. That is my mirror twin, Da-Kadu, and a sense of love and reality for his fellow person, Da-Kadu. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You wandered down the lane and far away, leaving me a song that will not die. Love is now the stardust of yesterday, the music of the years gone by. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night dreaming of a song. The melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again with you. When our love was new, and each kiss an inspiration.
Spirituals that meant so much to him. I've seen him believe in this, and so in his transition, this is a reality to our childhood. In the church, make the music right, and so that engendered in us a sense of responsibility. So I play this to you. I hope it will get a spirit for you.
High up in the sky, the little stars climb, always reminding me that we're apart. You wandered down the lane and far away.
A spiritual for you. Hopefully it will reach you.
Anybody want to say hi to Da-Kadu?
I do. Doc, I send all my love to you on your 80th birthday. So, I caught you that salmon, right, for your 80th birthday. And I caught your brother John that one. All that orca for you. And that bear, I was camped next to you for a week up in the northern tip of Vancouver Island, British Columbia.
You know we love you, man.
One more thing. Last night, I saw Clinton Farron, and he was playing, and I think he may have been playing for you.
Keep going up.
All right. You're going to send it to him, right? Okay.
Love you, Doc.
Hey, Da-Kadu.
Hi.
Say hi, Rachel.
Hey. Hi, Da-Kadu. Hi, Da-Kadu. Love you so much. Greatest stepdad in the world.
You probably cut yourself. All right,
Happy
maybe you guys didn't play with the grass
Happy birthday.
anymore, but you guys cut. Here.
Doc, I know you're out there, and I know you can hear this. But when the good rains finally came, we stood out under cover. Watched the dry earth drink it up like a long log. We opened up our senses to it again. Felt so good to feel that way. And if you love the water, let it rain. Let it wash away your pain. There are reasons to explain. If you love the water, let it rain. Time is such a fleeting thing, you know, it comes and it goes. It ebbs and it flows. Water falls and rain goes. And if you love the water, let it rain. Let it wash away your pain. There are reasons to explain. If you love the water, let it rain. There was a time we kept ourselves apart, surrounded by the dryness of our hearts. But life is a natural mystery, they say. So I guess we'll just let nature have its way. And if you love the water, let it rain. Let it wash away your pain. There are reasons to explain. If you love the water, let it rain. If you love the water, let it rain.
Then about what year did you meet Da-Kadu?
I don't know. I actually don't know. Because like I said earlier, all of a sudden I realized that I'd known this guy. He was always there, like, you know, in my peripheral vision or right out in front of me or coming up and saying hello and asking how things were doing. And, you know, I'd run into him all over the place. And all of a sudden one day I realized I'd known him for years. It's about a friend of mine who was a Vietnam veteran, Navy. And singing on the street and being down at the Pike Street Market saved his life and his sanity and put his kids through school. It's called Jim's Song. time he came to Seattle, he was riding in a boxcar. He was a little bit disheveled and didn't even have his guitar. Vietnam was in the mirror, and he was trying to make it fade. Just another lost soul in life's forlorn parade. Next time he came to town, he was wearing a clean pair of pants. He was not alone this time, but life had taken quite a chance. He had a wife and family, children 1 and 2. And he was going to make a go of it, that's what they were going to do. And the wheel goes round and round. Sun goes up and down. And you'll know when it's time to settle down. And he wore his best dress and he showed up to work on time. And she got the kids to school and they saved up every dime. They had pancakes with water for supper and cigarettes for tea. And life was good, just the way it ought to be. Yeah, but still there was that edge that just would not blunt. His tongue could be a razor whether he wanted it to or not. They said the truth will set you free, but it'll also get you fired. And that's when he got inspired. And the wheel goes round and round. Sun goes up and down. And you'll know when it's time to settle down. So he took his guitar and he went downtown and started to sing. And autumn turned into winter, yes, and winter turned into spring. And his voice got stronger and the songs began to soar. And he realized he found what he was looking for. And he sang about politics. And he sang about love. And there was nothing so low down that a song could not rise above. And he sang to make you laugh. And he sang to make you cry. And he sang because the song could not tell a lie. And the wheel goes round and round. Sun goes up and down. And you'll know when it's time to settle down. Then one day America went to war against Iraq. And every nightmare he ever had came back. For every veteran of every foreign war, there just was no sleeping anymore. And when the streets filled up with people, he was out there too. He did everything he could think of to do. Sometimes he even thought he could stop it with a song, if he could just get everybody to sing along. Oh, but history is a cannonball and just keeps rolling. And you can't unring that bell when that bell starts tolling. And there's only so much that anyone can take. We just didn't know how hard his heart would actually break. And the wheel goes round and round. Sun goes up and down. And you'll know when it's time to settle down. You came a long way from that dirty boxcar. Your wife and a family and a song and a guitar. From an anonymous shadow on a downtown street to being somebody that almost anybody would want to meet. He left a big hole when he took his final ride. And it was big enough to put the whole wide world inside. And it was humming full of music, yeah, full of life. To family, children, and a wife. Well, somebody said, and it's a word of the wise, Well, you can mourn if you have to, but you better organize. Better sharpen up your tongue to come out swinging, 'cause you never know when you might have to start singing. And the world goes round and round, sun goes up and down, and you'll know when it's time to settle down. Yeah, the world goes round and round, sun goes up and down, and you'll know when it's time to settle down. Thank you.
Mr. Jim Page. Jim Page. So we have a song to sing right now, and we think it's probably a song that you have heard before, and it's completely appropriate. And the person that we have to sing that is Papa Ron. Let's hear it for Papa Ron.
This goes back to 1954, and it's kind of fitting because it's talking about just exactly what's happening with all of us right now. This old house once knew my children. This old house once knew my wife. This old house was home and comfort as we faced the storms of life. This old house was filled with laughter. This old house heard many shouts. Now she trembles in the darkness when the lightning walks about. I'm getting ready to meet the saint. This old house is getting shaky. This old house lets in the rain. This old house lets in the cold. Well, my knees are getting shaky, and I feel no fear of pain, 'cause I saw an angel peeking through a broken window pane. Yeah!
So we have just two more songs to go in this first part of the afternoon. We want to hear from Dave and Mark. Dave Fisher and Mark Epstein have known Da-Kadu for a long time, and they have written a song especially for him that they call For the Children.
Hi everybody, my name's Mark. The title of the song is For the Children, and when Da-Kadu visualized this party today and continued to try to talk about it every time we'd get together and everybody would go, yeah, 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 yeah. He would kind of reveal what he wanted to see, the vision for the day. He thought it would be an arboretum, and he envisioned people playing, and he thought that Barry would be sitting right where he is in the front row. And he thought that the title of the program should be America, Don't You Know It's For the Children. So this song, Dave put the lyrics together. We kind of lifted a melody and music from David Crosby and Craig Doherty. Their song, Monkey and the Underdog.
His fate was born to play strings and horn. Fred is based with a friendly face. Market a pie, his licks down tight. His call goes out to all the children, the children. It's all for the children, the children, the children. It's all for the children. In solidarity with Cuban parity, he married buried his wife near Havana one night. To his horn did they rally for arts in the valley, bringing unity to the community. For the children, it's all for the children. The children, it's all for the children.
That's Dave Fisher and Mark Epstein, and a song that they wrote especially for Da-Kadu. We hope that he likes it as well as he likes it when we're showing all the different people who are here today. This slideshow that you see in back of you here, lovingly put together by Michelle with great help from Max. Is Max, are you still here? Yeah, he's not going to leave. He's a new lover of, another new lover of Da-Kadu. It's about an hour and 10 minutes long, is it? About an hour long, and Da-Kadu in his hospital bed has seen it how many times? Four times. He's really enjoying seeing it, so he'll like seeing this too. Don's going to come up here.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce the one and only Don Alexander. Da-Kadu and I first met Don back in 1991 when we were organizing the Rainier Beach High School and the Rainier Beach community to get a performing arts center. And I did not know Don Alexander, but I was at University of Washington where Don was the moderator. And I said, I can tell that this man is going to be able to help him to do. He said, what do you want from me? A community organizer. He has worked with Martin Luther King and Angela Davis. Do we ever spend time together fighting to get that performing arts center and to keep the military out of Rainier Beach?
There's a lead in giving this or in doing this event at the UW. While I was on the podium, the microphone, I kept seeing this very energetic woman, and she making motions. Of course, I didn't know what that was all about, and she was getting my attention. And she wanted my attention because this was the first Bush war, the invasion on Iraq the first time. And we were building up a home front war against racism, political repression, and all of the inclusiveness that was not available to us. And they were sending all of our young men, our fighters, away to fight colored folks somewhere else. And here we were in a country full of colored folks that needed fighting for. And those of us that were gathered were angry at that dichotomy. We didn't see, I guess, a lot like Muhammad Ali, what the hell are we going over there for when we have so much here to fight for? And one is reminded of the, didn't I build this cabin and did not plant that corn? Didn't my folks before me fight for this country before I was born? And I asked my loved ones before me, before they were dead, this is worth fighting for. And whatever we have done, will do, can do, shall do, there's a group of people, human beings, that are the most important element on the face of this earth, and that is children. Without them, in my view, we are nothing. They are whatever we consider our eternal life. The fact that my living in Seattle, and I have lived and worked all over this country, this is the whitest place I've ever lived. And that is what Da-Kadu and I and Michelle and my wife would talk about sometimes late into the night and for different, as episodic. And Da-Kadu was not important or necessary to me. It was necessary to what I thought we were doing. Without Da-Kadu, the things that we were able to do certainly wouldn't have been as accomplishable as they were with Da-Kadu, because he furnished us with the gift of poetry and song and music. And to them, this is important. Doc was our intermediary there to these children and with his musician and musical abilities. But I don't think it's possible. I just don't think it's possible for me to speak of Da-Kadu and the flavor that so many of us will or have, and that is in the singular. I've never seen Da-Kadu in the singular. Everything I see about Da-Kadu and know about him and related with him and to him has been in the we. It has always been an inclusive thing with Doc. We are going to do, this is what we should do. It's been my experience that people like Da-Kadu are not just so important for the generation in which he lives, but the generation coming after him, because he and they understand each other, and Da-Kadu can translate that in a way where I can understand it, and you should be able to. So the last thing I will say here is not so much about Da-Kadu, but about us and you out there. It angers me and it concerns me that when I see all of you folks out there, all this talent, and I know a hell of a lot of you, and I just don't see a hell of a lot of you out there doing a damn thing. And that bothers me because there is so much to be done. Da-Kadu was one of those people that inspired a let's go. And damn it, please, if you want to honor Da-Kadu, damn his 80th birthday, hell, everybody's got that, or will have or want to. Da-Kadu is good for humankind. Help us celebrate that and join in that effort. Thank you.
If I gotta play, you gotta clap. Come on, instead of talking. Da-Kadu. Da-Kadu.
I think the great Bill Withers sings something like that the most. There in my soul, please send a letter home for me. They done shot me in my shoulder. I can't write a letter. Da-Kadu. Can you hear what I'm talking about? Da-Kadu. Da-Kadu. If you can clap them, keep on clapping. Don't stop. We're sending out a message in case you didn't figure that on out yet. Right? Clap your hands. We're sending out a message. Da-Kadu. 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 How's it go? I thought you said something about Miles Davis, huh? Give a big hand. Da-Kadu.
Conditioned his whole life after the war. He got shot down over the Tommy Sap Lake. These people in 3 boats rowed out there in the lake and got him, took him around, back around to Thailand where his operations was. He was safe. The next time he flew over that area, he looked down and he told me, I seen the bodies making the lake red. I quit. And from that day on, he didn't do no more Air Force stuff. But he had flew that airplane, landed it in times of stress. But he just quit right there. But I was safe because I had finished graduate school. So he didn't have no investment in saying it. So they sent him home to the VA in Bethesda, Maryland. But that's another story. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ron Jackman. John.
My name is Ron Rockman Jackson.
You heard it. Dr. Rhodes on the Roland piano and the fantastic saxophone. Woo! And Ed Mays on the drums. Thank you.
Chris is Da-Kadu's case manager, and I cannot tell you the wonderful care the beautiful spirit this man has, the love, the patience, the tenderness, and he has made Da-Kadu's life at Benson Heights better than I ever could have hoped. And he puts on incredible music events for the residents and staff.
Thank you, guys. So I'm going to play a little bit of Redemption song, and we're going to sing together here and do a little harmonizing, see what happens. So here we go, guys. And thanks again for coming.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? Is all I ever had, yeah. Redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from enslavement. No one but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy. None of them can stop the times. How long must we kill our prophets while they stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. None of them can fulfill the books. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption songs, songs of freedom, songs of freedom, songs of freedom, songs of freedom.
I do want you to know that we do have Michael Hero. He wants to sing a song, one of Da-Kadu's songs.
Happy to be alive.
purple dusk of twilight time steals across the meadows of my heart. High up in the sky, the little stars climb, always reminding me that we're apart. You wander down the lane and far away, leaving me a song that will not die. Love is now the stardust of yesterday, the music of the years gone by. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night dreaming of the song, the melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again when our love was new, and each kiss an inspiration. Oh, but that was long ago, and now my consolation is in the stardust of the song. Behind the garden wall, when stars are bright, you are in my arms. Tells his fairy tale of paradise where roses grow. Though I dream in vain, in my heart it will remain the stardust melody, the memory of love's refrain.
You know what I like to play? You know what I like to play wrong music? Stardust. The purple dust of twilight time steals across the meadows of my heart. High in the sky, little stars climb, always reminding me that we're apart. You must is now the progress of yesterday. The music of the years gone by. So here we go. Look at me. I'm as happy as a robin in a tree, just as good as a bird, and as good as my word. Can someone really know I'll stand it all anyway? I'll stand it all to the wind. I ain't got no cut-off button, it's broke.
You wandered down the lane and far away, leaving me a song that will not die. Love is now the stardust of yesterday, the music of the years gone by.